Welcome to another episode of the Weekly InSalt. My name is Wade. I'm also here with Ches, as usual.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Good. How are you doing? How was your week?
It's good. A little busy, but it was good.
It seemed like this week there's something in the water. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a little bit. Laura's not here. She's on vacation, so hopefully she's having fun. She'll be back next episode, I'm sure. And I'm here with the beef and cheddar no ranch sauce of sound.
What the fuck?
Kurt. What's up, man?
How's it going?
Good. I couldn't think of a title, and then I just thought it'd be funny to like say things you order.
All right.
Of sound.
I guess that works.
Yeah, I didn't have anything else, but made you laugh at least. And then we've got a good guest with us today, Brian. You're here with us in studio. You've been a bouncer. You've had some experiences doing that stuff, and can't wait to get into it. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, and thank you for being here. We were talking a little bit before the show that you're just like, yeah, I'm cool. I'll come talk. You know, and a lot of times being in front of a microphone and with all the equipment around, it's kind of like, oh wow, I'm doing something that's big, but it's not. You know, we're just
it's a little intimidating, but
we're just a group of guys in a room, and hopefully someone will download it. I know my mom will listen to it, so at least we got one fan.
Nice.
You know. Yeah, so I guess we got this was kind of a referral through Kurt, right? A buddy that you work with.
Yeah. It's a coworker of mine that we've worked with. I've worked with him for, I don't know, 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And then he works with Brian.
right, I work with him at the amphitheater.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
That's who we're talking about. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So how do you end up getting into security work and being a bouncer? Like, start us through. Give us a little history.
Well, it's kind of something I've always wanted to do. I've did a little bit of it when I was younger. I was in a fraternity, so I kind of always was, hanging around the front door and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the last 3.5 years or so, I've done it more seriously. I've worked at several bars around the valley. At one point, I was, that's all I was doing was doing security. I enjoyed doing it. I've learned a lot. It's been quite the experience.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot to learn. I mean, I've spent, my time in bars and things like that, and not every bar is like this, but some of them are pretty rough. Sometimes they attract pretty rough crowd, and people that definitely don't want to take shit from anybody, even a bouncer sometimes.
Yeah, stuff happens in certain places, and there's a reason why I was there.
Yeah, and I bet there's a lot of people that have someone like you to be thankful for when there are times like that, because you mix. Just to mention, security for a venue is one thing, but then you add alcohol into the mix, and people get real dumb real quick, especially when they overconsume alcohol.
But it's funny you mention that, because there's a guy at the amphitheater. They'll come up to me and they'll say hi to me because I saved him in a fight in the bar.
Yeah. So you've made maybe some friends that you see at these different shows all the time that know you from helping them out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And majority of the people aren't there to cause problems, but there will always be those people, right?
For sure. Most people don't want problems.
Yeah. Have you noticed, I'm kind of jumping up too quick with this question, but if you're looking at, say, a crowd when you're doing security for a show or something, can you tell, by looking around, that you're like, I think these people are probably going to be a problem?
There's definitely people I keep an eye on more than other people.
Yeah.
I guess, maybe you're not supposed to say that or something, but no, there is.
Well, because I'm sure you have to protect yourself.
Actually,
too.
I feel like I'm pretty good at observing and seeing things happen before they happen.
Yeah. I was just going to say, you've got to get that. You've got to be able to see it, recognize those type of people that are going to be the problem causers.
Oh, yeah.
And after a while, you've got that expertise to know what to look for.
Yeah. At the amphitheater, a lot of times I'll work the main gate. And, you can kind of tell who's trying to hide things and who's not when they come in.
Yeah, because usually they're nervous, right?
A lot of times
they're nervous or act just different.
They're staring right at you.
Or they're
trying to sneak something
or
in.
They're the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they act too cool.
Right.
Which is weird because you don't think about that. And that, police and the FBI and things like that have relied on those things a lot when you try to find somebody who's lying.
For sure. Yeah.
People get nervous, or sometimes they detach from the situation or make it about something else, And there's a number of things. We had a episode with my buddy James. He's been on the show a few times, but he does some security stuff with the Delta Center and things like that. The episode's not up anymore, which is a different story, but it was always interesting to me that people in the crowd forget a lot of times that you, the bouncer and the security people, you're not there drinking. You're literally not there even watching the show. You're just watching the crowd.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so they think they're being sneaky, but you've got, 20 people with eyes on this crowd the entire time.
Yep.
You know, they're not going to miss much. Whether or not you're going to be able to go get them in the crowd is another thing.
At the amphitheater, it's more than 20.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
Just saying.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I'm not there to watch the show. I mean, I listen to it. Some of them are good, but I'm not there to watch the show. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're there to kind of protect everybody and make sure that things don't get out of hand.
Yep. Yeah. I do roaming security. I said the front gate too, but that's until the show starts.
Right.
Usually once the show starts, I roam.
I'm sure you guys are all in contact with each other via headsets and stuff like that,
yeah.
so you can support each other.
Oh, for sure.
What's like an experience you've had where it was just like a rough night at work? Like you were like, I was expecting to just do my normal routine, and it didn't turn out being like that.
Oh, well, that does happen. Usually it's a big fight.
Just a huge fight.
Yeah.
Usually what will happen. And if like a big fight breaks out in the crowd, do you go into the crowd?
Well, I guess I wasn't thinking about the amphitheater.
Okay.
There can be altercations in the amphitheater, but it's usually not a big fight. The bars have big fights.
Oh yeah.
And they can spread.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been some pretty bad ones.
Mm-hmm. So
I feel like I'm good at stopping them.
Well, for the audience, they can't see you obviously, but you're a big dude. Like if you told me like, hey, settle down, I don't think I would have much will to talk back to you at all.
Thanks, I
I would be like, no problem, sir.
I mean, how tall are you? 6'7"?
6'8".
6'8", yeah. Have you ever felt like you've been in danger? No. So you've always been fairly able to control like pretty much any situation, for the most part.
Not meaning to sound arrogant or anything on your. I mean, I don't want somebody to come up and challenge me and try to go. I'm going to be the one.
Oh, trust me. If you're thinking that, you're not going to be the one. I'm sitting in this room with him. You're not going to be the one.
But no, I've done pretty good.
Good.
I think I'm very good at it.
What's your favorite part about doing this job?
Keeping people safe.
Just keeping people safe, helping people out,
and people telling me, "Hey, thanks for keeping us safe."
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't do it. I think I'd get too nervous. Like
working security?
Yeah, when the shit hit the fan. But I guess you probably trained for that too, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm 3rd degree black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Even more reason not to.
I mean, not that I like use that or anything, but I mean, I'm good with my hands. Mm-hmm. I'm very good with my hands.
Yeah.
And I don't need to be good with my feet. I mean, in being a bouncer, but I am with that too.
Yeah. So what's like your ideal environment that you like working in? Would you prefer to do bars, or do you like larger crowds?
I guess I like a variety. Bars have their own situations that can, cause problems.
Sure.
But I love doing concert security too.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I escorted 32nd to Mars through the amphitheater.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
it was awesome.
That is way cool.
It was awesome.
Huh? I guess
5 minutes of fame.
Yeah. Hey man, you're still working it, so you might have more.
No, for sure. I'd like to do more of that, like because I know that some of the bands have security guys that travel with them, and when my kids are a little bit older, I could see doing something like that.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Like, I think it'd be cool to have cool security, but it's like, I'm never going to need that. I thought about doing it as like a joke one time, just finding somebody like you and hiring you, paying you and everything, and just walking around and being like, this is my security guy.
Sounds great to me.
All right, cool. I don't know if I'd need it. I'm a pretty nice guy, so I don't.
Well, that's just it. You don't want to need it, but if you need it, then it's
good to have it.
That's right.
Yeah, good salesman too.
It's like the photo. I don't know if you've ever seen it with Jason Momoa. Mm-hmm. Walking with his 2 security guys.
Yeah.
Where he was pretty much bigger than the 2 security guys combined.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've seen like weird things with security too when you see like videos online of like There was some dude that rushed the stage when Drew Barrymore was just doing like this little interview thing and just yelling like, Drew, I need to talk to you. My name's Will. And her security, like, man, they went after this guy so fast. He didn't stand a chance, you know, to even get close to her.
Oh, sorry, it's small.
Yeah. For such a big guy, that's sure a small picture. Kurt.
Oh, there's another one where they're walking down the street. Oh, I guess no, that one is it, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, but he's a big dude. But at the same time, those security guards, like, they look fairly intimidating.
I was thinking.
I don't know. Let me see.
I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding, but
I'll look it up.
What are we looking up?
how tall he is.
Oh.
He's 6'4". So
Yeah,
you got
see,
him
I'd be
beat.
taller
Yep,
than
you
him.
got him beat. But his security detail does look intimidating. And I think that is, probably something good to have on your side, is to appear a little bit intimidating. Even if you're just like a big teddy bear, it still probably get you out of a lot of
being
situations.
a physical deterrent is part of it.
Yeah.
Well, at least for me, that I'm a physical deterrent. That's what I want to be.
Mm-hmm. So have you ever had somebody like straight up challenge you, or like when you're throwing them out, they're like, "Oh, I'm just going to try and fight this guy"?
No.
Nope. Never
No.
happened. Good.
No.
Because, I mean, so here's what we've been
There's been a time when I wasn't working.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, it didn't, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a difference, too, that I wanted to bring up. There's a difference between large shows and bars, and I feel like bars
There's a
sometimes
huge difference.
become more violent because it's
Absolutely.
it's like a more intimate setting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then people really hold grudges. I know some of the bars that I've been to, fights have broken out over under the table betting on pool. People don't want to pay.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't think that was a thing. I thought people go to bars and they're playing pool and they're just having fun. I had no idea that they're like $100 a ball, and then somebody runs the table and
Your
they're like, I'm not paying
competitions
you.
are a big source of problems.
Yeah.
Cornhole competitions.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't even think about cornhole, but some people get very competitive.
Very serious and competitive, and things happen.
When you bring money into it as well, that just makes it even worse, know, because somebody's like, I beat you fair and square, you owe me $500. They're like, well, I don't want to lose $500, and then
Right.
And then all it takes is, like, I've noticed this too when I've seen this happen at bars, is that as soon as like that first punch is thrown, it can just very quickly turn into an all-out brawl. Like people that aren't
That's
even
what
involved.
I was saying, how it can spread.
Yeah.
And at certain places, it'll spread out into the parking lot, and then it'll just more people get involved, and
Well, and it can escalate.
I've
People
seen
are like,
that happen.
I'll go get my gun. People
Oh,
are
yeah.
doing that. And
Oh, yeah.
like, it's all over alcohol and too much of it.
Egos.
And egos. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Alcohol brings it out.
Yeah, it really
Absolutely.
does. And I never understood that because I'm just like a nice person. I just don't, like, I've had people that want to fight me too, but everybody knows that I'm just nice, so they all have my back. They're like, you don't have to fight, dude. Like, we'll just tell him to go away. He's got like 6 of us and 1 of him. And I'm like, thank you for that, because I've never really been a fighter. I don't want to be. And so I appreciate people like you that if I ever was in a situation, there's somebody like you that's willing to come, out there, and you're kind of putting yourselves in harm's way when you're breaking up a fight because you don't know if people have a knife or anything or another weapon. I bet you're in good standing with the cops. They probably love you. They're at the shows and stuff, hanging out with them.
I work with them very closely at the bar that I work at now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're around a lot, and they're my friends.
Mm-hmm. They all know you. Like, hey,
they certainly know me.
How's it going, Brian? What do we got tonight?
Yeah, they certainly know me.
And they probably appreciate you too, as well, because you handle it before they even have a chance to get there.
Yeah. No, I'm sure they do. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they do. In fact, last night that was confirmed.
Yeah.
They show up and just finish cleaning up. Like, all right, Brian's already taking care of these guys for us. We're just gonna go collect them.
Well, and I think that can make or break a bar, too, because if the police are showing up there all the time and there's just problems that can't be handled by the establishment, then it looks bad on the bar.
Oh, for sure.
Because now you're taking up the resources of the city for a bunch of times a night for no reason, But having somebody like you around there keeps the peace and reminds people that, you're having fun tonight, but keep it within a certain level of respect, and everything will be fine.
Yep, absolutely. And, I believe I'm good at that.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Have you ever been, like, what's the worst situation that you've been in like a bar? I mean, you don't have to get into no details of like the location or anything, but was it a giant fight? Did somebody pull a weapon?
Well, there's been fights that people pulled weapons. Mm-hmm. There was one that a 2x6 just appeared out of nowhere. It's like, I don't know where he got it, and he was swinging it around.
That's crazy.
He didn't hit anybody.
Thank God.
Yeah.
That was almost like a wrestling, like WWE right there, like just a 2x6.
Yeah, no, it felt like that.
Really?
It definitely felt like that. And then other people start coming in, and it's like, well, who are these guys?
Yeah.
You know, and,
Like, how do you get a 2x4?
Yeah, where did that come from? Because this has been hanging around.
He must have made it. It was in the parking lot. He must have made it to his car and back.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think people looking for fights a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
They come prepared.
Oh, yeah.
You know, baseball
Yep.
bats, 2x4s, 2x6s.
Well, we look for that.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's a big fight going on, and somebody can walk through their car and come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff happens.
One thing that I wanted to bring up, and I'm sure as part of a bouncer, do you check IDs and stuff? You're like the door guy in a way?
There have been some places where I do check IDs. Where I currently work, I don't check IDs. There's somebody else that checks IDs.
I've noticed a lot that that when people can't get into a bar or something, like their license is expired, they don't have a passport, or they have a like out of country ID. It seems like a lot of times they'll be like, "You're just racist. You won't let me in."
Yeah.
Has that happened in your experience too?
Yeah, that can happen.
I feel like they throw that at you because it's like something that you should be appalled at, and you're
Right.
like, it has nothing to do with what color of skin you have. It's the fact that you don't have the required documents like everybody else in here.
Right.
does,
But anything to muddy the waters, and they hope that maybe they'll just be let in somehow.
Yeah, I'll give you a bad Yelp
But
review or whatever.
that never works.
No, especially here.
That never works.
Because in the state of Utah, for people that might be listening that don't live here, you cannot be inside a bar without having an ID, and it doesn't matter.
No matter what age you
No
are.
matter what age you
That's
are.
right.
Yeah,
That's right. No matter
you
what age you are.
have to have an ID with
That's
you,
right.
and it has to be a valid ID.
That's right.
Yeah.
And when my function was to check IDs, I was always very serious about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was 70-year-old people that would come in and I'd say, I need to check your ID. They're like, really? I'm like, yep, everybody has to have an ID to be in a bar in Utah.
Yeah, and it seems like the people who know they don't have a valid ID are the ones that make the excuses.
Oh, yeah.
Like, look, dude, you know I'm old enough to drink. Like, why do you need to check my ID? Just let me in. And you're like, well, legally you can't be in here if it's expired, so go get your ID like an adult.
Yeah, and then shut the
come
bar
back.
down.
Yeah, and shut the bar down. I think the bar gets fined. I think the person who let them in has the potential to be fined.
I'm sure it can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this bar I used to go to, we'd walk in, we'd be the only two into the bar, and we were there fairly regularly. So I mean, they knew us by first name. So they'd walk in, welcome us in by name, and then scrutinize our IDs, ask for IDs, and then like they're over there with their flashlight. I'm like, it's like you just welcomed me by name. You just looked at this ID yesterday. You did the same thing yesterday. I mean,
got to do it.
See, with me, unless I was specifically told to check everybody, if I knew you by name and you came in every day, I would just say, do you have it on you?
Yeah.
And if you said yes, that would be good enough.
Yeah. Because generally most people aren't trying to. They're just going to the bar to have a beer. They're not trying to be like that. I don't know how to put it. I can tell, like, when I'm sitting at the bar that I'm a regular at, I'll sit down and I can tell almost right when they walk in the door. Like, I can judge them and like, oh, they don't have a valid ID. I can tell already. And then they scan with the little gun. We have a gun in Utah that scans the code on the back of your ID. And it makes a very specific noise if anything's wrong with your ID. Like, you're not 21, it's expired, or something like that.
Right.
And every time you hear those beeps, and it's like, uh-oh. But then it always, sometimes they're like, oh, okay, whatever. And I think those people go around to all the other places, like, well, we couldn't get in here, let's go try a bar down the road,
Yeah, I'm sure.
And that's another thing about the bar community is I've noticed that all of the bars are very good at letting each other know, like if there's a guy that's real shitty, like, hey, we just 86 this guy, he said he's heading your way, keep an eye out for him, and don't let him in there either.
Yeah, I'm sure some communicate that
yeah.
way, and security guys definitely communicate.
Yeah,
I had an incident. We were at a bar one night. I mean, in California, we left and this guy followed us out of the bar and tried starting shit up in one of the guy's faces and screaming and yelling. And as soon as he went hands on, like, he shoved one of the guys. The bouncer door guy was right there. He grabbed him, did a bums toss, up. There were like 4 or 5 bars in a row where we were at, and he just went, like, pointed like up, and all the next bouncers just kept grabbing this guy and throwing him up the
Just send him
street.
down the road.
And then the bouncer, the bar we were at, is like, hey, you know, because he knew one of my buddies. He said, hey, why don't you guys come back in, have another beer to let that asshole get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were just waiting for him to do something. Like, you guys were totally cool. So
there are people that just want to start stuff.
yeah, I was like, as soon as he was,
So weird to me.
I just needed an excuse so I could go hands-on with him. And as soon as he went hands-on with you, that gave me my
Yeah.
Well,
justification, and he's out of here.
I think I already know the answer to this question, but do you enjoy violence?
No.
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 You're there to literally stop it, and then there's people that just walk around looking for it.
I enjoy being a physical deterrent.
Yeah, yeah. Like, you are literally the opposite of what everybody, I think, would assume that a bouncer's like there because they're big dude. They probably fight a lot, you know. They probably have a big ego. Like,
Yeah, I'm
you
not
know.
there to fight.
No, you're there to
I mean,
keep the peace.
I can,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, no, I don't want to fight.
That's one thing I wish it'll probably never happen. If we ever do get a guest like this on the show, I'll call you for security. But I want to talk to one of those people that's just walking around that is looking for a fight every night. Like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with them? Like, I don't know. You think their dad was mean or something?
Probably.
Could be.
Yeah, maybe their mom was mean. I don't know. I just have never met. I mean, I've met people. I don't associate with them, but I just don't. It's so far out of my reach to want to go looking for a fight.
Right.
You know. But everybody's different. And that's why we have people like you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So another thing that I thought was interesting is you also do software development.
I do.
So you're a bouncer and then software development. I assume
I
that
do.
did you go to college for doing software development?
Yes, I
and
did.
stuff? So
Well,
that's kind of a cool
I
fork.
have a master's degree in physics
Oh wow, okay.
and computer science.
That's amazing. Physics. I was thinking about going back for my master's degree. Should I do it? Is it worth it?
I mean, I don't know your current situation. It kind of depends on that.
Yeah.
But no, it's not necessary, especially not in computer science. I mean, to write
Yeah.
code, you don't need a master's degree.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I have a bachelor's.
it's probably not worth it.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
fair.
unless it's like some burning desire in you that's just something you have to do.
Nah,
You know,
Come on.
that's cool.
Go be Dr. Wade.
I definitely don't want
mean,
to go
you
to
do-
that much school.
You do learn cool things getting that detailed into it.
Yeah, that's true. It's more like a specialized learning rather than kind of like your general.
Yeah.
That's cool. But I thought that was interesting that on the one hand, so it sounds like you kind of you got both of these like passions or guess careers that you're doing born out of going to school when you were doing the frat stuff, but then also for computer science,
Yeah.
and that's awesome.
Yeah, I like both of them.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
cool.
they fit each other well.
Yeah,
And I
Yeah.
guess it kind of completes me.
Yeah.
I couldn't just do one of them.
no, that totally makes sense. I just never would have thought when you showed up on my door today that you were like, yeah, I'm a software developer. You know, I would have been,
Yeah, most people don't think that.
yeah.
But, that's okay.
hmm
That's a good thing about software.
Yeah. Anybody can do it. You just
That's
gotta,
right.
Yeah, and it pays well. That's okay too.
Yeah, no, it
It
does.
does. It really does.
It does.
Computers aren't going anywhere either.
Right.
So we're always going to need more of that.
It's
And honestly-
expanding. Refrigerators now have computers.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's going to. Kurt's getting a new kitchen, and so I keep asking if he's going to buy the one with the TV in it.
No,
Come on, man.
no, I'm
good
not.
answer.
Gonna, that's a $4,000 fridge. I'm not spending that much on.
Good
Well,
answer.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's only $3,000 if you take the computer out of it, right?
No, it's probably like 2,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's still
I mean, it's
thousands
cool
for a
that there's
fridge.
software in it, but I think there can be too much of that.
Oh yeah, they're talking about fridges that will scan the contents of your fridge and
Yeah.
create a list for you with
Yeah.
like,
Right.
AI and stuff. It's like I don't need that help. Like,
Yeah.
For my whole life, I've written a grocery list and it's worked great.
Right.
I don't need my fridge being like, you're low on QP mayo, dude.
Yeah.
It
Then
sends you a notification to your
send-
phone
it
like,
sends
Kurt, you
an
need more
email.
pickles.
it sends an email to your doctor who notifies your HR,
Yeah.
and then your
Well, and
rates
some-
go up.
Sometimes you just want to go to the store and just look around and
That's
whatever.
true. That's true. If they had it their way, the fridge would just shop for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd say probably in the next 5 years, I bet it does.
Your fridge just buys things.
Yeah.
It's like you need to
Place
eat
an
more
order
yogurt.
at Walmart for you to.
Yeah, what kind of
pick up.
dumbass money do you have to make to have your fridge restock you weekly?
You don't have to make a lot of money, Kurt, because for a limited time only, right now it's $39.99 a
Right.
month
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
for the rest of your life. We were making a joke about that. Like, what if in a world where, like your appliances, your dishwasher, you have to still put a quarter in it, or what? Like it's in your house. That's just part of the contract as you buy it, and you never own
they'll
it.
find a way.
Yeah,
we were over at Laura's house that one night, the other night.
Yeah, when we were doing when we were met her dad.
Yeah, when we were over at her house, and her dishwasher had a little slot in the front of it. I'm like, this is where you put your credit card. I was trying to jam my credit card into it to unlock the rest of the features.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they basically have that now in cars. I mean, where you're...
True.
Well, they'll sell you a car that's got a feature on it, but then you have to pay monthly to be able to use that feature.
Yeah, and I'll never buy that car.
My truck.
Yeah.
Or it's disabled yeah.
Yeah, I found out
That's
that all of
cheesy.
that stuff that for my truck that they asked me to pay yearly for, I don't really need.
Right.
Like I can still do everything. I just won't have like the latest map update or something. I still can do everything, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would
still
say
they're trying nickel and dime us these days, you know.
Yep.
maybe pay for a couple of months every so often.
Yeah, just
so you
to get the
update your map
Yeah.
and then cancel it. I mean, 'cause they really don't update your maps for every couple of years. So
Yeah. Well, when you're not doing your software development, you're not being a bouncer. What do you do? What else do you enjoy?
I enjoy lifting weights.
Lifting weights, yeah. we're gonna get into that. I think on the next half. We've got like 3 minutes left, but
That sounds good. I'd like to get into that. I used to compete in strongman.
yeah, strongman. That's intense.
And I still train some of it, even though I'm not young anymore.
Do you go to the gym pretty regularly?
Oh, yeah.
You have a routine for that, yeah. Because like you said, physical deterrent.
That's right. Yep. That's what I do.
Is that where they like fling like 60-pound blocks of concrete 100 feet in the air? See how high they think?
There is some throwing for height. There was a keg toss in one of my competitions for height.
They lift the giant boulders.
But yeah, most people know the Atlas stones.
The
You
Atlas
lift
stones, yeah.
Atlas stones
Yeah,
up
yeah.
onto over a bar or put it up on top of something.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then, there's like a farmer's carry, lifting logs over your head,
Pulling the trailer, isn't there one?
yeah.
Trailer pull.
truck pull or
Truck
trailer
pull,
pull.
yeah.
So I've pulled a fire engine.
Jeez. I can't
Full
even
of water.
imagine that. I
Full
get
of water.
mad when
It was like 100,000 pounds.
I get mad when I have to push a car. I'm like, come on, man, it's
Downhill.
100 degrees out. Yeah, downhill.
Did you say a car or a grocery cart?
Cart.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I always get the handheld one. Keeps me from spending more money than I need to.
no, you just get the little cart, the half-size one.
The half one.
Yeah.
I always get that one. Easier. It's more agile. I feel like.
But I mean, still today, you get that and you put like 6 things in it. It's still $120.
Oh, yeah.
You can't walk into a grocery store without spending $100 these days. Things are getting expensive.
It's the after effects of the pandemic.
I really think
Yeah.
it is.
It is.
They've rippled a lot,
Yeah.
and I don't think that people thought they would ripple for this long, but they still are,
Yeah. It's paying for all that back then that nobody was working for.
Oh yeah, totally. Everything shutting down like that is not a good thing.
Oh, no.
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 It's never a good thing.
Not in my eyes. I don't know. I guess some people, yeah.
I think some people really, like, in the beginning were like, it's cool, man. Like, now I finally get to work from home. But we found out really quickly, like with my job, when everybody went to work from home, it was before the pandemic. So we were already working from home. But there were just some people that can't handle that. They can't handle working remote. Like,
Yeah. Well, my job turned remote when the pandemic started. And
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it.
yeah, it's tough. It's an adjustment.
It's a big adjustment.
Like being at home all the time, I have a hard time with working 8 hours at home. It's nice because I can go cook my lunch and I don't have to go out to eat all
Yeah.
the time. But
Yeah, at first it seemed nice.
then you realize that when you get off of work, you close your computer and then you walk out and you're still just at your house.
After a while, it felt like I was in some sort of psychological test to see how much I could take before I'd go crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have to tell myself like I
All
know
my tasks would come in on a list that I wouldn't talk to people, and
crazy.
we would get messages just to make sure we were online on our computer and nothing else. Just are you
No
there?
phone calls, no like meetings. Maybe meeting every now and then.
Not really. A meeting every now and then to plan when the next meeting was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
But
Yeah, you just get your tasks and then work and then
much prefer being in the office when I'm writing software.
I mean,
I've come to terms with being at home. I can do it. I'm okay with that. But I also constantly talk with my team because I'm a team lead. So
Yeah,
I
that's cool.
always make sure that I'm Like if they have a question, I don't want to hash it out over a message. Like let's just jump on a meeting real quick
No,
and
that's
talk
good.
it out and stuff.
That's good. That's important. You're a good team lead then.
I think that people just got so used on the pandemic that they started to get a little bit lazy. Like, oh, we're working from home now. No, my boss can't walk around and hold me accountable.
Oh,
so,
right.
like, I'll just slack off a little bit more.
Yep.
And now that we're all back, I would like to have the option to have an office to go to, because I do genuinely just like being around people and working with people. I think it's easier for me to get things done. Not everybody's like that, but
yeah.
I also am not the type of person that like literally for 8 hours in silence I could sit there and code. I have to take a break or at least
I take
myself
breaks,
I'm
but
sane.
I can code for 8 hours a day.
Yeah,
for sure.
If I can. It's just sometimes
It's a different
like,
mindset, though.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where I get to work one day a week from home, just that one day, I'm like, I kind of miss being in the office.
Even just the one day, huh?
Yeah. I'm like, it is nice having that one day break, Yeah.
But
the other times, like, I kind of enjoy coming to the office and the social aspect and the.
Yeah. Totally
adds to it. So.
Well, with me, I went through a divorce, and so I live alone now. And so yeah, it's much different working remote when you're living alone.
Yeah, it is, and I live alone, and it is like I've noticed that every noise outside really grabs my attention, and like. Yeah. I was telling Kurt, I have some cameras up around my house, and I'm like, sometimes I wish I didn't, because I don't want to know. You know, like if I was just at work at the office and I knew that, and I didn't know that was going on, ignorance is kind of bliss in that case.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking about when we were talking about technology. It's like I don't need to know where my car is all the time, or I don't know. It can cause its own worrying. And
I think that the younger generation is going down a really interesting path of always being connected. Like,
right.
I'm glad that I grew up in the era of like no cell phones. You had the landline, cassettes and CDs, no internet. Nowadays, kids at any age can find anything they want on the internet at any moment.
Yep.
Yeah, back when you wanted to find your friend, you just rode through the neighborhood, they found the yard with all the bikes in it. Like, okay, everybody's here.
Right.
Yeah, not anymore. Now they're posting on
It was definitely
Facebook
like that when I was a
TikTok.
kid.
Yeah.
That's my problem, is I want to know everything.
Yeah, and I don't. I don't.
I have cameras everywhere. I track my vehicle.
Do you track your car keys?
I track my car keys because I lose them.
Yeah, I do too. I've got, but that actually has helped many times.
Yeah.
I'll have it in my hand and I'll throw it in the trash with other trash in my hand.
My dog is on a GPS.
Yep.
So yeah, those actually are pretty nice.
Even though I know my dog isn't going to go anywhere.
You keep him. You keep the GPS on him when he's in your house.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Crazy.
I mean, I don't think he's going to jump the fence and leave because he knows where the food is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. Let's take a quick break and then we'll come back with Brian.
Talk about some strongman stuff.
Sounds good.
That sounds great.
We'll be right back. And we're back. Weekly InSalt, episode 325 with Brian, the bouncer. Welcome
Hey,
back.
how's it going?
Good. We started talking about towards the end of the last half about the strongman competition. And how long did you train before you entered the strongman? Were you always kind of a fan of weightlifting? And
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I lifted weights for quite a while, and then I was doing powerlifting for a little bit. Well, kind of to get stronger to do strongman.
Okay, so you kind of had a plan to go
Oh,
do
yeah.
it at some point. That's
Yeah.
cool. What are the qualifications that you have to even enter strongman? Do you have to qualify for it and do a bunch of?
Well, for just a local competition, you don't have to qualify.
Okay, so you can just enter the competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there will be regional competitions, and if you qualify there, you go to nationals.
Okay.
For amateur,
Okay.
I was an amateur.
Okay. And what kind of stuff did you usually compete in, personally? Do you have to do it
what
all?
events?
Yeah, what events?
You flip tires. There's a log press, overhead press the log, Atlas stones, farmer's carry. Usually there's some kind of deadlift,
Okay.
a car deadlift, or a frame deadlift, something like that.
Sorry.
Sometimes you load things over bars, like you load a keg over a bar for reps.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was always a little different. That's kind of what I liked about it.
Variety.
Yeah. There's standard events, but then competitions would have their own unique things.
I kind of like that about the strongman competition is it wasn't just like you're lifting a bar, with some
Right.
weights on it. It's like you lift a car.
Right.
Yeah.
Or natural stone.
Or natural stone, yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool because it's like more real world items that you can I can associate with. I could never lift a car, but when I see somebody else do it, I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
they're strong.
Yeah. Then you also got the car walk.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
get,
there
like-
has been that in some of the pro.
What do you do? You pick up the car and you have to walk with it.
Yeah,
It's
so
like a
basically-
frame carry
Okay.
or a yoke. Sometimes there's a strap that's over your shoulders.
Yes, like you'll get in like the middle of a old VW Bug, and it's got
Oh
straps.
yeah,
You
yeah.
pick it up and then walk with this car.
That's crazy.
So it's like a yoke carry. I mean, a lot of times
Oh yeah, here
there'll
we got
be a
some
yoke
video.
that you kind of get underneath with your shoulders and you walk with it on your shoulders.
Yeah, we've got. They were doing. I don't know what event that was. They had a basket with a bunch of rocks in it.
No, that's the Conan's wheel.
Oh, okay.
The Conan's wheel is hard.
Oh, it looks hard.
You have to get your hips under the bar
Okay.
so you can not have the weight way out in front of you.
Yeah.
And that's.
How important is technique when you do this? Is it everything?
Well, I mean, some things like the Conan's wheel is very important.
Yeah.
Other things it's not as important. It's just kind of
Like
but-
brute strength.
Yeah, but everything has some bit of technique that's important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was never good at the Conan's wheel.
It
I don't know
looks
if it's
hard.
a tall guy thing or not, but
Yeah, maybe.
I was good with Atlas stones because of my height and long arms and
Yeah.
farmer's carries. Anything that was grip, I was pretty good at.
This is just the event, like just holding a big weight on the bottom of a chain.
Yeah, grip strength is a big thing in strongman. There are competitions that are just directly just grip strength.
Oh, really? Okay.
That people, I guess you don't really hear about those.
No, but,
But
I could see
grip
that.
strength is really important in strongman.
Okay.
Yeah, here's one Titan's turntable. So basically, they set up like a big turntable and they put like an old steam locomotive
What?
on it, and then you got to turn the table or spin it around.
And when we're watching this right now, and there's two guys
Yeah,
competing,
they're
they're
just-
holding a weight on a chain,
Right, they're just holding a big ball.
big ball, and it looks like they've been holding it for
It's just
33
for time.
seconds now.
Right.
And when you watch it, it's not very exciting, but that's got to be so difficult.
Yeah, things like that aren't fun to watch.
But at the
Oh,
same
yeah.
time, it takes a lot of training to.
Oh
do
yeah,
that,
those are the worst ones to do when you're just standing there holding something for time.
Yeah.
You have to think about like you're in another place or something.
So when you compete in strongman, is a lot of it mental then too?
Things like that are for sure.
Fighting through
Oh
the
yeah,
pain. And
anything that's for time, it's mental.
all mental.
Yeah, well, I'm not all, but there's
Yeah.
Let's say 200
200K,
200K.
200K,
Yeah.
and that's the lightest one.
Yeah.
I had a competition that we loaded a Atlas stone over a bar for reps. This was amateur strongman, masters strongman. So you had to be over 40, and it was a 360-pound stone over a 48-inch bar. So I mean, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What they're doing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was there were probably 25 people competing in that one, and I was like one of 3 or 4 people that got the stone one time.
Oh wow.
And
Wow.
I got it twice.
That's crazy. Yeah, this is like for time too, just as many reps as you
it's
can
for
get, I
reps,
guess.
It's deadlifting.
They basically look like they're lifting like
Double
railroad.
overhand, just double overhand, but they have straps.
Yeah.
Yeah, 360
So it
kilograms.
makes it less of a grip.
Yeah, this is more about just
And it's
raw weight.
It's
lifting.
the wheels, so it's off the. Oh, but they're on platforms. So yeah, it's probably the same height as a normal barbell with plates on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because
what-
if it's higher, it's easier.
Okay.
The higher it is to start with, the easier it is to deadlift it.
Okay.
No, they're strong for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They got a full crowd there. They're lifting. I don't know what is it like.
360 kg, it says.
Yeah.
Deadlift.
So what? That's
It just looks like an industrial
800 some odd
wheel.
pounds.
Something like that.
Yeah.
360 times 2.2. So
Yeah.
Well, they're just not lifting at once either.
Right, they're doing it for reps.
Yeah. Man, the discipline and the training I'm sure that it takes to compete is crazy.
Oh yeah, to be a pro, that's
Yeah.
all they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 792 pounds.
Yeah,
Did you have to adjust your diet and things like that when you were really working hard? And
my diet was I just ate everything I could eat to weigh as much as I could weigh because mass moves mass, and yeah, it was very unhealthy.
Yeah.
And at one point, that came back to hurt me.
Oh,
You know,
really?
Now I'm very strict with my diet, and I was diagnosed type 2 diabetic years ago, but now I treat it with my diet.
Yeah.
You know, I don't take any meds for it or anything. But I was just so out of control with what I just ate.
You were just ready to. You were just trying to build, just bulk up.
Well, I mean, I weigh 275 now. When I was competing, I weighed 375.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And yeah, I'd go to the buffet and just sit there and eat, like during my lunch break, eat everything for an hour.
Do you miss it a little bit?
Oh, I miss competing in strongman.
Yeah.
I don't miss that.
You don't miss the buffet time?
No. I like being leaner now. You know.
Yeah, I think that like sometimes too when you're eating just a ton of food, you don't realize how bad you actually feel when you're eating so unhealthy.
Yeah.
And then when you start eating healthy, you're like, geez, I didn't know I could feel this great.
Yeah, strongman isn't about health.
Yeah.
It's just about strength. But I mean, it was a lot of fun. I had a good time.
Yeah. It looks like a lot of fun.
It was a pretty cool experience meeting all the pro strongmen that I've met.
Yeah, have you ever met any of like the champions and stuff like that, or like?
Oh yeah. Well, I trained with Van Hatfield. That's
okay.
Well, Utah's pro strongman, I guess. He was America's Strongest Man in like 2006 or 5 or something like that. And then he had the overhead log press record for a long time.
Yeah, I think
until Robert Oberst beat him.
Like Eddie Hall comes to mind. Oh, he just comes up right there.
Yeah.
Eddie Hall. Yeah, he's like the British strongman.
Right, I haven't met him.
He's a beast.
But I've met a lot of them. I've trained with Nick Best in his garage.
Oh wow!
And I met a lot of strongmen. Robert Oberst let me use his belt in one of the competitions.
Oh, that's cool.
Down in Vegas.
It's probably fun being part of it because I imagine it's all a community, right? You're all there to
very much so.
Compete, but at the same time, you all just want each other to do great.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's strongman competitions. Everybody cheers for everybody. It's definitely like that.
Yeah, because you're all trying to get there anyway, and if somebody else can do it, I bet it's awesome to see, like especially breaking world records and things like that.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Were there a lot of injuries in strongman?
Oh, I've seen some for sure. Yeah, lots of bicep tears.
Whoa.
You know, yeah. There's been some pretty bad things I've seen. One.
Like broken bones and stuff. Did it get that bad? Yeah.
Oh yeah. We were overhead pressing a log, and this guy's knee just gave out.
Oh, ouch.
And it was on top of him, and he was down backwards, all crooked, and the ambulance was there like in a minute.
Yeah, wow.
And they had him on morphine because he was screaming.
I can't imagine that's.
It was terrible.
It was a gnarly injury.
It was terrible. I felt so bad for him. It really was. It was terrible.
That's like a career ender, right?
Oh I doubt he was going to be doing strongman competitions.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
it's possible. Yeah, but I mean, even just like the PTSD from that afterwards.
Oh yeah.
And you start lifting again, just thinking like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is this knee gonna hold now? Is it gonna?
Yeah.
And especially just like, do I want to go through that pain again?
Right.
You know, maybe it's not. Maybe I'll just keep exercising, but I don't need to be lifting that much weight anymore.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of the weird thing about getting older too? Is that I think I'm 40. I just turned 40 this month, but which by no means is super old, I don't think. But I definitely feel like I'm getting older and things like that.
Well, I'll be 59.
Okay. You're in way better shape than I am at 40.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't have a problem with my age. I mean, I put a lot of effort into staying healthy.
Yeah. And I think when I was a kid, when you're in your prime, like what they call your prime, and like your mid-20s, maybe early 30s and stuff, I just kind of took it for granted. I was like, oh yeah, I can eat anything. I can get away with whatever. And then when you start getting a little bit older, you're like, maybe I should have taken a little more advantage of keeping myself in shape while it was easier to do that. And
that is true. You got to think about your future self today.
That's one thing I think it's easy to do, to not think about your future.
I think the whole thing, though, people, 40's old, that needs to stop because 40's nothing.
I don't feel like it's that old.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
And
I mean, 40 is like
there's no reason to use it as, I'm not saying you.
No, sure.
But there's no reason to use it as an excuse. Like, it's expected now because I'm 40 that my knees are going to hurt. You know,
Yeah, there's kind of a
doesn't have
cop
to be
out.
that
Huh?
way.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm 40 now, so it makes sense that I'm in so much pain. No,
Yeah.
you should probably exercise.
There's probably a reason.
Yeah.
You're sitting too much, or your diet's not right, or something.
I noticed over last winter that from working from home, sitting at a desk all day, and it was winter time, so I haven't been snowboarding or I don't really do much during the winter. It's hard to get out and
for
do
sure.
stuff.
It's hard.
By the time springtime came around, my knees and legs were achy, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like, I thought about it. I'm like, is it I'm just getting older? And I was like, nah, I'm going to start doing some hikes now that it's springtime and get out there, and
Yeah.
definitely helped me feel better, a lot better, just being active and
Oh, I bet.
and outdoors, especially
I
when
bet.
we're stuck in our offices all day.
Yep. Which I'll be there next week.
Yeah.
I start a new job.
Yeah.
But it'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be good.
It'll be good. But yeah, I'll stand during the day more than in the past, I'm sure.
Yeah. Do you have a standing desk that you work at work? Or?
At home, no. But
Yeah.
the last office job that I had one that adjusted. And
Yeah.
hopefully there'll be a way that I can stand for a lot of time.
Kurt, you're a fan of the standing desk, huh? You got one at work?
I do. It's one I built myself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been thinking about asking for one at work.
Yeah. In our office, we have like treadmill desks and stuff like that too. That I'm like, yeah, that would be fun. I can never go to the office. I think it's in Oregon or something.
Hell of a
think
commute.
With doing security, I think that's made me realize how important it is to not sit too much.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
because
just
you can't like
writing
just-
software. You sit too much.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, and it's definitely part of that job of security to make sure that you're in good shape.
Oh yeah,
Because that might
it's
mean the
definitely
difference
part of it.
between you getting hurt and not getting hurt, or somebody else
For sure.
getting hurt.
Yep. Yeah, I take that seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Yeah.
It's important.
There's always going to be those people out there. Was this Eddie Hall? Oh, yeah, you looked up Eddie Hall's highlights?
Yeah. He's pulling an airplane right now.
Oh, yeah. Did you
Yeah.
ever pull any airplanes while you were...
We pulled the fire engine.
That was...
It was 100,000 pounds. Well,
That's crazy.
I'm trying to think of what else we pulled. It was like this big military Hummer kind of thing at
Oh, yeah.
Nationals one year.
Eddie Hall, man, he's just casually pulling an airplane.
Oh yeah, he's strong. Well, Brian Shaw too.
Yeah.
Brian Shaw's my height, and he weighs like 425, or he did. I don't
Just
think
like
he's
pure
competing.
muscle.
Yeah, he's something else.
Yeah, because you look at like Eddie Hall, and he's a big guy, but I wouldn't say that he's like heavy. That's just all muscle.
Yeah.
I always thought it's crazy when they're deadlifting like that and the bar is bending.
Right.
Like,
Well, the bar bending makes it easier to lift
oh, okay.
because then you have some of the weight on the ground while you're pulling it up. It
Okay.
doesn't pull all the way off the ground until you're partially.
It's like easing into it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. I didn't even
I mean,
know
especially
that had a function.
especially if you're used to that. I mean, maybe the first time you pull with the bar like that, will throw you off.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise it makes it easier.
It's probably less
But I mean, that's still
harsh.
crazy. That's still crazy. That's
Yeah.
like 1,200 pounds or something.
Yeah. I'm sure that it makes it easier on your muscles too if there's a little, like, it's not just all weight at once,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. It's like less chance of an injury because, like we talked, I'm sure that's
Yeah, maybe.
huge thing.
Oh, injuries are huge. Well, torn biceps are really, especially deadlifting something like that.
Oh,
It's
geez.
common. It's very common. I've torn my bicep.
Does it hurt real bad?
No, not now.
Not
I
too
mean,
bad.
well, when it tore, there's different kind of tears you can have. You can tear your tendon, and the whole thing just rolls up your arm. I
Oh.
tore my muscle,
Yeah.
and so it wasn't like completely like that, but it felt like this little bubble going up my arm.
Oh, weird.
It was very strange.
That is weird.
But no, it didn't hurt. It was weird. It was
Yeah.
very weird.
Then you got to take it easy for a while. And
Yeah, 2 days after that, my whole arm was black and blue.
oh, really? It was
Yeah.
that bit? It's like a huge bruise.
Oh
I
yeah,
guess you-
my whole from my shoulder down to my wrist, it was all black and blue.
Oh, that would be kind of
Yeah,
horrifying to
no,
wake
it
up
was
and
it
you're like,
was
oh,
it was a
crap.
little scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little scary, but I didn't need surgery because I didn't tear the tendon.
That's
And
good.
It's healed.
At
It
least you're
doesn't
thinking
bother me
like,
now.
oh, am I bleeding? Do I have internal bleeding or something? I need to go
Oh
get checked
yeah,
out.
the
or-
muscle is just bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I've been to the gym a little bit. I haven't been a lot, but it's like really hard to get in the routine. I imagine once you do it, it's pretty easy. But
It's what I do.
Yeah.
I don't think I've missed a day in a
Really?
long time.
yeah,
I just enjoy it.
yeah. I don't know, Ches. When's the last time you went to the gym?
It's been a long time.
Well,
Now we're turning it into gym shaming.
Yeah. Way too long.
That's not for
an
everybody.
average day,
you know?
I'll go more than once.
Oh,
But
really?
I split things up. I mean, my schedule will be changing with my new job, though. But
Sure. Because you can't work out the same muscles all the time. You want to kind of get a good mix of everything, you know? Like that meme that was going around where, like, bros don't let bros miss leg day.
Yeah, don't skip leg day.
Yeah.
no, that's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't. Do you guys have any questions that I missed? I'm trying to think of like another one about being a bouncer that I'm kind of drawing a blank. It's really cool. I think it's really admirable that you do it because you love it and you want to protect people. I think that's cool that there's people out
Thanks,
there
I
that
appreciate
will do
that.
and I think that because sometimes I bet your job's a lot of a thankless job. I'm sure
it's
there's a
a
lot
very
of people
thankless job.
that yell at you because you're kicking them out, and
For sure.
I'm sure you've heard really horrible things that people have called you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
Absolutely.
it's nice that there are people out there that do that, you know.
I
So,
appreciate
yeah.
that. Thanks. And yeah, I enjoy doing it. I do.
If you could give any advice to somebody who maybe wants to get into doing like protection and things like that, what would you tell them?
I would say work a variety of different situations. You know, bar security is way different than concert security.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that concert security in big amphitheaters. I also worked at other venues that were smaller. You know, maybe 1,000 people inside.
Yeah.
And that's completely different too. You know, to work all of them and see what you like and what you're good at.
Yeah, I'm sure you've
And
gained
learn.
experience from
And
all
learn
of them.
from everybody.
Mhm.
I mean, even I don't know. I've been doing it a long time, but I learn from everybody I work with.
Yeah, did you have anybody when you first got started that like kind of showed you the ropes or?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So you had
Yeah,
some
for
people
sure.
help.
I mean, the first bar I worked at, I was there to help him, and I helped him every way I could.
Mhm.
And yeah, he taught me a lot.
Oh yeah. I think that's the most important thing too, is if you're willing to learn.
I think it's very important.
Yeah. And of course, every situation is going to be different. I think that's got to be probably the hardest thing to deal
Every
with, right?
situation is different.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because you might be able to, yell at one person and they just stop and calm down, and then sometimes you yell at somebody, it makes them more angry.
It's true. You have to know who you're dealing with
What's usually your tactic when you see something going on? Do you just tell people like, "Hey, can you knock it
to
off?"
de-escalate.
Yeah. You just
De-escalate. And if there's a fight, I get in between them
Yeah.
and make it separate them.
Yep.
You know, and
Stop the problem really quick and then
Yep.
calm everybody down.
calm people down. You know, use words, not fists.
Do you think people generally, once you get involved, they just kind of back down and then it's over with, or do you still have people that?
Generally, not everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a small percentage that, won't back down.
Yeah.
That, you have to physically make them back down.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever just picked somebody up and like, "You're coming with me now"? You just toss them out.
Not toss them out, but yeah, there's been times that I grabbed somebody to restrain them from what they were doing.
Yeah, just pick them up.
Yeah.
What a
But I
tough
mean,
job.
I'm also very, I think, respectful.
Yeah.
That's the last resort.
Yeah.
And some places I work will carry a taser,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a big responsibility.
Yeah, you can't just go
And
around
so-
tasing people.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So no, I think I'm very good at what I do.
Yeah, and I agree. I'd agree. And I think that's something that's really important that you just mentioned, is that a lot of times the people you're dealing with have a very big lack of respect. And I don't think that, I think you made a really good point saying that, well, I have respect for people, even if they are being an asshole at
Yeah.
that moment. You're still not going to put your hands on them unless there's a reason
That's
to.
right.
You're not there to argue with them or to
Nope.
egg them on.
Nope.
You're there to de-escalate the
De-escalate.
situation. And if it warrants that you need to grab them, then you will.
That's right.
You're not just there to be like this big dude to get in a fight with.
Right.
Do you ever worry about having to deal with like assault charges for having to put your hands on someone?
Well, I mean, it's a concern. Yeah, it's a concern, but I make sure that what I do is right. And yeah, that I know that I'm right inside me.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's never happened.
Okay.
It's a really good way to put it too, is that you're like, yeah, I worry about it, but I just make sure that I try to do what I think is right, and generally speaking, when you have good intentions, you're probably not going to cause any problems,
Right.
Yeah, unless you like full on beat the shit out of someone.
Well, I mean,
Most likely law enforcement
I'm
will
never
take
going
your
to do
side.
that. But that's not who I am.
Sure.
Yeah, that
I'm
says
there to stop things. You know, if I'll stop things, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not me at all.
And it says a lot about you just in general. It's like you know, I think there's people that probably have a high likelihood of losing their cool when they do security because you're in the middle of an active fight sometimes.
Yeah.
And if you can't keep a level head and think like, okay, how far can I go? How far is the appropriate response to this thing going on?
Oh, I think, level head's very important.
Yeah.
And you always have to be thinking about what's going on and doing the right thing.
Because sometimes when people see red, they don't care if you're in the way or anybody else is in the way.
That's for sure.
They're just going after anybody at that point, you know.
That's for sure.
Like fight or flight response, you know, and they're just there fighting. Have you ever accidentally been punched?
Situations like that. Accidentally?
Or just like in the middle of a fight and then somebody just got you?
Kicked.
Oh, okay.
That way.
Yeah.
Punched, not so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Thank you so much, really, for coming in and talking about what you do, because I think it's really cool to hear from the experiences that you've had.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It was great being here.
Yeah, and how you respond to it and things like that. Because I think a lot of people, when they see security, you know, you're like, well, maybe I can sneak this bottle into the show, or, you know, I think there are a lot of people that are like, security is just bullshit. But you're there for to do a job, and you do it. Yeah. It sounds like you have. I think your thinking is perfect when it comes to doing that stuff, because you're there to do your job. You're not there to make a statement. You know, you're there to help everybody else out. That's right. So I think that was great to hear. Anything else for you? You good?
I got something here.
Hit us.
I don't know if you've seen this, but so Monday, so 2 days after, this will be 2 days before this comes out. But player for the Boston Red Sox is going to be the first player to play for both teams in the same game.
What?
Huh.
So this game.
That's a crazy segue, by the way.
Yes. So this game that will happen on the 26th. So,
what's his name?
Danny Jansen.
How does he play for both teams?
So what happened is this game actually originally started back in June 26th and got postponed due to rain. But so this Danny Jansen, he was actually at bat when the
rain delay came.
When the rain delay came,
That's
and then later, so you know the game was against the Toronto Blue Jays and the Red Sox.
Yeah.
So he was playing for the Blue Jays, and has since been traded to the Red Sox.
That's crazy.
And so, on this 26th game, he is going to be the now starting catcher. So he will be behind the plate when he should be the one
batting?
At bat.
So they're not going to make him bat?
Well, no, he plays for the other team now.
Well, I know, but I just wonder if they'd make him like finish your batting. You're up to bat, put this jersey on, and then go.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So he will be credited for playing for both teams
in a game,
in the same game.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's weird. What kind of a coincidence is that? Yeah. You know, that's insane. Well, thank you again, Brian.
Thank you. I appreciate
enjoyed
it.
yourself. This has been another episode of the Weekly InSalt. Yeah, man, I can only imagine some of the situations that you've had to deal with.
There's been a lot.
I'm sure some of them are pretty funny. Some of them are probably scary.
Yeah, that's true.